Welcome back to Maple Grove. I'm Wes. It's gonna be another hot day. I'm just doing a bunch of little stuff, fixing to trim a few trees, do a little bit of weed eating. Then I gotta work on the truck, and then I might work on the little farm truck. And it's just gonna be another one of those days of doing stuff in the barn. So here we go. Some of y'all might have noticed we got large rocks all over the property. Well, just kind of give you a size perspective. It's my feet on some of the ones that the tractor could push. Got a whole nother section over there. And we got a big one over here that the tractor wouldn't even push. This is probably the second or third biggest stone on the property. I could lay down almost short ways and definitely long ways, and I'm 6'5". The tractor wouldn't even budge this one. This one here was definitely the prettiest one. I remember the day that I got it up out of the ground with the D4 dozer, and that same D4 with two 8,000-pound straps. The straps were singing standing this one up. Once again, I'm 6'5", and that's me full height. So it's a big stone. We saved all these stones because that mound on the other side of the pond, we're actually going to turn it into a waterfall. We're just going to circulate water out of the pond, and it's going to start off in one big cascade at the top, and it's going to end up being 3 or 4 once it gets to the bottom. Because we have plenty of rock, plenty of dirt, plenty of hillside over there, so might as well make it cool. Just making our way around the pond, hit this little bridge right here. We actually had 2 slabs the same size as that bridge piece, and I dropped one putting it in place, so we had to use the second one, and I was praying the whole time I didn't break it too. This is our stockpile. This whole grown up area is rocks. I just hadn't gone in there and done any trimming or anything, but some of these are almost a foot thick. Some of them are 7 to 8 inches, but they're all good size. But for water feature, you just need the front edge and a flat surface for the water to peel off the top of. But I think we got plenty. This is where a bunch of these are going. Start off up here and just drop off into the pond. Hopefully it'll keep things circulated and the water oxygenated. Be healthier for the fish, plus it'll be kind of pretty. Have I mentioned we've got a few rock piles? And another one. This is a lawnmower from my grandmother's house. We're going to try to get it going. It's been sitting about 10 years. Had to clear out a mouse house before we got started. Didn't seem to want to pick up fuel, so I had to get a can of carb cleaner out, give it a little snort. Had to get the right front tire back up on the rim. It's running, but it's running like a dog. Maybe it just needs to be run a little bit, carburetor cleaned out. We'll see. Well, it's gonna go take y'all for a ride. It dies. Nothing electronic is working. The battery's way dead. Probably been dead for 10 years now. So that's understandable. But at least it runs. I get a battery. Maybe everything will be somewhat back to normal at that point. But Nanny's lawnmower's running. It has no idea what kind of life it's in for. So I picked up a battery, came out the next day, and it ran okay until it didn't. So had to go take the grapple off the tractor, put the bucket on it, and go on a rescue mission. Had to bring the little mower back to the barn. Yeah, right of shame. Figure while I had the tractor out, I'd go and do a little bit of grass cutting. Got 7 acres up front that we're trying to keep in decent shape, so might as well knock it down while it's still kind of low instead of waiting for it to get butt high and fighting with it. All right, this is where we're off the lawnmower. We know it runs, we know it cuts, everything works. It's got 54 hours on it. It's probably old enough to get a driver's license. Something's up with the carburetor. It probably needs a spark plug in it just from sitting so long and me throwing so much carb cleaner at it to get it to crank up the first time. It does work. We got done what I wanted to do just to make sure it did work, and it's time to push it back under the pallet rack, get to work on the truck. That's a little more important right now.
This is our old truck. It's a 2004 F-250 6-liter turbo diesel. We were going to pick up some plastic barrels from Buddy's house to build a floating dock, and it died, and it finally cranked back up. But then a couple days later, pulled up to the barn, it died again. It wouldn't crank till the next day. So I think I've got a pressure problem somewhere, either the high pressure oil system or the fuel pressure. So we're going to do a couple checks, try to figure out what it is.
All right, I got this fuel filter cap with the pressure fitting. So I'm gonna stick it on the engine and see what kind of fuel pressure we got. What this is the fuel pressure regulator, and there was a upgraded pressure regulator spring kit that came out. The early 6.0s ran a little bit lower pressure, and they realized that it needed to be upped. So you can get these kits and go back and update an older truck to get the better fuel pressure. So tossing that old spring, make sure we don't get it mixed back up. Then we'll have to change some O-rings. It should take us from 50 pounds of fuel pressure to about 60 pounds of oil pressure.
Set oil pressure, actually meant fuel pressure, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Fuel pressure was up to 65 psi, which is perfect. The oil pressure for the fuel injection system was exactly where it needed to be, so we ended up putting a injector pressure sensor. It's got some kind of crazy initial, but I put that in there and it ran and loaded up the Talon, drove it home. Everything was good except the unison ring in the turbo is apparently seized from sitting up at the barn, and it wasn't making turbo boost. So it was a gutless wonder the whole way home, which means I gotta drive it back up there with the trailer and the Talon on it, up the mountain, no boost. So I'm probably gonna make a lot of the neighbors mad. But all that happened when the batteries for the camera had already died. So charged them up enough I could catch this little ride home, and it runs. I tried to beat the turbo into submission right here. It didn't help. He just laughed at me. So we're getting there. It's an old truck, 200,000 miles. It's old enough to buy beer. It's a 2004 model. So just got to keep throwing money at it, unfortunately. But it's a good truck. It's just quirky. But that's it. Y'all have a good day. God bless.